Hi, this is King Ariel, the Melech HaMashiach, talking about Amalek today. What is Amalek, okay? In short, Amalek is an evil race that was created by God to rule the world until the Messiah comes. Just as Israel is the emanation of good, and that means Israel, those people live by the Torah commandments, not citizens of the state of Israel, which itself is an emanation of Amalek. But Amalek is the evil race that rules and controls the world until the Messiah comes and destroys them all. We learn from the Zohar and Kabbalah that the soul of Amalek, I think it's in Bereshit 25, is from the primordial serpent. And so it's basically the devil incarnate, and this is the grandson of Esau, okay? Esau, the brother of Jacob. Either Jacob or Esau rules the world. So the times when Esau's powers are ruling and Israel's not ruling, Amalek rules the world. He's the embodiment of evil. Let's look at the sources where he first appears. He first appears in Exodus chapter 17, verse 8. Amalek came and battled Israel in Rephidim. Just when the Jews left Egypt and it was clear that God had saved us, Amalek challenged that and had no fear of God and wanted to attack the Jews anyway. It shows his brazen blasphemy against God and his holy people, the Jewish people, his enemy of the Jews. Okay, choose people for us and go to battle with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand upon the hill with the staff of God in my hand. Joshua did as Moses said to do battle with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur ascended to the top of the hill. Okay, so then and when he lowered his hand, Amalek was stronger. So when Moses raises his hands, when we have more faith in God, it weakens Amalek. Because Amalek, we know that the numerical Hebrew value of it, the gematria, equals doubt. So Amalek puts doubt in faith of God. The Gaon of Vilna in Even Shlema, chapter on redemption, Gula, says that Amalek is characterized by throwing off the yoke of heaven, Prigat Omahut Shemaim, and Bittul Torah, nullifying the Torah. He casts disbelief in faith in God and the Torah. He makes laws and rules against it. So we see this emanated in what Daniel chapter 7 calls the fourth beast, or Daniel chapter 11 calls the king of the north. He makes his own rules, like the capital city of Edom today is New York. The fourth beast is the king of the north is New York. Its traits are that of Amalek, which are, we learn from Deuteronomy 25, Rashi, that Amalek are corrupt the world and the Jewish people with homosexual sodomy. They're homosexuals. They want everyone to be a homosexual. That's New York espouses this evil Amalekite belief. We learn from Rav Nachman of Breslov on his writings on Purim that Haman the Amalekite corrupted the courts and justice. So another trait of Amalek is they corrupt justice in the courts, thus by evil. We learn that also from Deuteronomy 25, when it talks about the Jewish people have to be careful to keep our scales of justice, honest weights and measures, and means good courts. That after that it talks about, remember what Amalek did to you on the way when you leave Egypt. He attacked the weak, and he's a predator who attacks the weak and corrupts those people who are weak, molests children, molests Jews, seduces Jews and pure people into homosexual sodomy, as Rashi appears there. So there's a hekesh, a juxtaposition. Deuteronomy 25 first talks about honesty in business, then it talks about Amalek. So it shows that from there we learn that Amalek is dishonest in business. He's a cheat. He's a scoundrel. And so then we have different traits of Amalek. He's homosexual and corrupts everyone to be homosexual. Unjust in the courts. He's a cheat. He's a scoundrel. He throws off the yoke of heaven. He makes laws which are based on his own logic and reason. And so we have to realize that why is the world so corrupt? Because God puts Amalek at the head of the Goyim, okay? where it says here in Numbers 24:19, "O Jacob shall rule and destroy the remnant city." That means, according to Rashi, that the commentator, that the Messiah will destroy the head city of Edom, the ruling world power, which is the fourth beast, Daniel chapter 7, the king of the north. It's the most corrupt, evil city in the world, which today, and the most wealthy and powerful, which today people know as New York. Okay. Then verse 20 says, "He saw Amalek and declaimed his parable and said, Amalek is the first among the nations, but its end will be eternal destruction." So by juxtaposing those two verses, that the city that will be destroyed, that Amalek is at the head of the nations, we know that that's an Amalekite city, which is New York now. In the yeshivas, people interpret this verse, Amalek Rishit Goyim, as according to Rashi, which says Amalek was the first to attack the Jews when we came out of Egypt, which is true. But we also know there's a general rule, a klal, that the simple meaning holds, that Amalek is the head of the Goyim. He's the leading of the nations. So all the nobility classes in Europe and Rome, all the leaders of the world, especially in the fourth exile, which Daniel talks about, there are four exiles. First Babylon, then Paras, then Greece, then Edom, which they called Rome, were led by Amalekites. All the Caesars were Amalekites, all the kings of Europe, the czars, the European kings were Amalekites, and all the leaders of the world are Amalek. But there's a kitsch here too. We learn that in the exile from the Kabbalah, the Zohar, Bereshit 25, that in the exile Hashem puts the era, what's called the mixed multitude, the reincarnations of the mixed multitude Jews in power, and at the head there is Amalek. So the Amalekite era of Ravians are in power. So all these people like Henry Kissinger and Barbara Streisand and Bob Dylan and Albert Einstein, these people, Karl Marx, Hermann Goring, who is also Jewish. Now you have Donald Trump is Jewish. Carl Sagan. In the Democratic Party, which liberal is a euphemistic term for Amalek, they throw off the yoke of heaven, do whatever they want. Bernie Sanders and this little monkey boy, Joe Biden, whether he's Jewish or Amalek, I don't know, but he emanates out of Amalek, the Amalekite values of homosexual sodomy, LGBT. In the course, the Democratic and Republican parties, their courts are totally corrupt. It's all filled with bribery. The whole system is corrupt and everyone knows it. That's why they want an outsider Trump. So the whole system we have now is ruled by Amalek, this evil race of Amalek. And Jews were so corrupted that they've become like that of Amalek. Okay, and the Gaon of Vilna says in Evan Shleimat, chapter Gula, the Messiah cannot come until the Amalekite Erev Rav are wiped out. And we know that the king, Israel, me being the king, my virtual die enemy as the enemy of Israel is Amalek. They represent evil and bad, where Israel represents good. And I'm, of course, talking about Israel, those of us who keep the Torah commandments. We're holy, shepherds and loyal, faithful servants of God. And of course, trying to be humble, and all the good traits, and truthful and morally pure. And you can look in Hebrew. I have got a YouTube talking about the fundamentals of serving God. Okay, if you want to learn how to serve God. I could translate that in English too if you want. So this is basically the lesson of Amalek. They rule the world and they have to be destroyed for the Messianic kingdom to come. For those who didn't hear about it, New York is going to be nuked. There's a program now to destroy Amalek in the deep state. Various senators realize that it's necessary to destroy New York for the redemption to happen. It's the cause of the downfall of the United States and the world, and they're in a program now, a top secret covert program like they had to blow up the World Trade Center buildings, which I was aware of then, being someone who was in the military there for 4 years. They're going to nuke New York now, and that's going to be an emanation of Numbers 24:19, and one from Jacob will rule and destroy the remnant of the city. Rashi says Messiah destroys the capital city of Edom, fourth beast, which is New York. I've given my blessing to them and consent. They asked me for it, and it's on the way. It's going to happen. So the redemption is happening. Good things are happening. Be well. God bless you. That's Amalek, okay? May their memory be erased.